Welcome back, everyone. Countdown to kickoff, hour number 3 of pregame here. You missed 2 touchdowns in a break. Tyler Algier for Atlanta scores, and then Indianapolis immediately goes right down the field. Alec Pierce gets a touchdown for the Colts, 13-7. I believe we're still in the first quarter, though. I did not see that. And we are, of course, getting ready for a 1 p.m. kickoff between the Buffalo Bills at the Miami Dolphins. Chris Brown, Eric Wood calling the play-by-play from the Northwest Bank broadcast booth. Countdown to kickoff is presented by Northtown Automotive. Whatever you're looking for, you will find it at Northtown. Now, it is time for the pregame huddle as we go to the Western Hotline and go down to South Florida as our own Sal Capaccio joins the show. Sal, good morning. First up, how is the weather?
Weather's great, guys. Got up this morning and it was pretty. It was hot already near the beach, the hotel. We're right on the beach there, so I felt weird grabbing a hot coffee, walking on a hot beach. But it's what you do, right? In the morning, it was really nice. And now getting here to the stadium, there's a bit of a shade on one side, but I think. You guys know what happened a couple of years ago down here, but that was an early game, September. Yeah. This is November, so the sun's going to be a little bit different, but the Bills' side will be in the sun, I think, for most of the game, but it's not going to be as humid as it was. It will be mid to upper 80s, but it won't be nearly as humid as it was. And then the other thing I'm checking out is, remember, there was a game here last night. Syracuse played Miami here last night, and whenever there's a game, we've been down here for games after, like, bowl games. Remember, in fact, I think when the Bills won in that Week 18 Flex Sunday night game, I think that was a night after a bowl game that was here.
Yeah.
And, anytime that happens, and we've been here before on Saturdays after home games, I always check out the field. A few divots for sure, grass field. It looks good, the field, but you never know. During the game, you have to kind of be aware of that.
Well, I know that's a big thing now with Pitt and Pittsburgh, both playing at Acrisure Stadium. That is something that you'll sometimes see when the Steelers play on Sunday. It's like,
their stadium is
beat-up field. But we'll see if that plays any kind of role today. Sal, there were some practice squad call-ups from yesterday. Dane Jackson and Balin Spector, of course, with the questionables going in today. 2 cornerbacks, Christian Benford and Taron Johnson, and then the other 2 being Daquan Jones and Josh Palmer.
Yeah, so we don't know yet if Jones or Palmer are going to play. We'll find that out here a little while. We get to inactive list coming out at 11:30 a.m. We'll be on the air for the pregame roundtable. But we do know that the Bills did elevate, like you said, Dane Jackson and Balin Spector. Now, Dane, because Christian Benford did not practice on Thursday and was limited on Friday. I was surprised when Sean McDermott didn't rule him out, but you never know. You want to give him another week there. That could very well be Dane Jackson coming up and just insurance on the outside if Benford can't go, because I would think that if Benford can't go, Max Hairston would get his first start of his NFL career opposite Tre'Davious White. But Benford offers you a little more insurance there. And to me, Balin Spector would be really for special teams, because with Shaq Thompson out, everybody kind of bumps up a rein, you know what I mean, and a ring. And, Dorian Williams will probably be a little bit more used again in that pass rushing role as he has ever since they lost Michael Hoyt last week. We saw that. He's also a backup linebacker, obviously. So I think that signifies to me that Balin Spector probably playing special teams, taking the reps that Dorian would get, and Dorian is going in for what Shaq normally would get if he were to play, but he's not playing today.
Sal, we'll get to the Dolphins' injuries here in just a moment, too, because they've got 2 guys already officially out, another one doubtful as well, plus 4 questionables. But for the Bills, you mentioned Max Hairston there, and that's a matchup and a player that I really want to key in on today, mainly due to the fact that the other receiver he's going up against, he handled the Worthy assignment incredibly well. He was able to go step for step with him. However, today, if he does get his first full start, and I look, Sal, the way the Bills have been using Hairston, they have not been using kid gloves. They have not been using training wheels. They have pushed him right into the deep end. Yep. But Waddle, I would argue, and I don't really know if there's going to be much pushback here, is a better wide receiver than Xavier Worthy. And while I love the matchup, I think you have to put Hairston on him. Because I don't love the matchup of Trey White trying to cover Waddle if Benford can't go today.
Yeah, for sure. And remember what happened in Week 3. One of the talking points coming out of that game was, oh my God, they gave Tre'Davious White giving way too much cushion and space to Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill played in that game. Remember, guys, this is the first time the Bills will be playing a game against the Dolphins without Tyreek Hill since he came here, and I believe he played in every game there. And then obviously you go back to Kansas City. So when he was there. So the Bills facing a Tyreek Hill team without Tyreek Hill. And, they'll make some adjustments here. But one of the things that happened last game was Jalen Waddle, a little too much cushion, a little too much space. And we all said, hey, Tre'Davious White knows he can't get beat deep, and he doesn't want to put himself in that position because of where he is at his point of his career. But Waddle had a really nice game because of that. So I wonder, as you say, if maybe they shadow him a little bit, put a little bit more of Max Hairston on him. We'll see about that. Without Tyreek Hill, though, Jalen Waddle becomes much more of a focus of the passing game as well. D. Eskridge is out. He's a receiver. He's a depth receiver. He's out. So I wonder, how it's going to look on the back end. I'm interested to see Max Hairston as well, if he does indeed start and play in place of Christian Benford. Got his first NFL interception last week. And, guys, he told me that he kept the ball, of course, and he was going to go sleep with it like a little kid on Christmas getting a new ball.
That's awesome.
That's my favorite thing ever.
That's big dreams and making one of them a reality kind of thing.
Yes.
So that's just awesome to hear. Heartwarming thing there. Sal, when it comes to it, a little less heartwarming is the Bills' pass rush depth has been tested here. A.J. Epinesa out with a concussion. Obviously, Michael Hoyt with the Achilles injury last week in that game as well. This is an opportunity, though, for a couple of players to step up in this one. I mean, Joey Bosa's been fantastic throughout the season. I'd say a little bit more consistent as of late. And then now, though, there's going to be a lot to put on with Javon Solomon and with Landon Jackson with the depth of this team when it comes to the pass rush today.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to see a little bit more out of Landon Jackson than what we've seen, but let's remember, he's not a pass rusher per se. Landon Jackson is more of an edge setter on the defensive end. Now, you can say to him, hey, go get the passer. That's fine. I'm not saying he can't do that part of his job, but really what he is more so, his skill set is an edge setter. He's a long player. I said the other day on the radio, he's long and he's strong, and someone said, oh my gosh, you sound like you're doing a music video. That's right. Long and strong, and we all know that, what was the video back in the day? You know what I'm talking about. You go to the club and you hear it, right?
Yep.
So anyway, the point is he is long, he is strong, and he wants to get the friction on when it comes to setting the edge right there, if you guys like that little old school reference. So we'll see about Landon Jackson on the edge, but the other part of it is Dorian Williams and Javon Solomon, I think, have to kind of pick up the slack in the role that Hoyt had in the middle of the defense as far as an edge rusher is concerned. And I think that's where you're going to have to get a little bit more of that, what they've had and what they lose. Joey Bosa on the injury report this week. He did practice. He's off the injury report now, but he was earlier this week with a wrist injury. So we'll see if that impacts him at all. But I would like to see Landon Jackson at least show, okay, there's a guy, third-round pick. He's got to start stepping up. And as you get towards the end of the season here, as the stretch run, you'd love to see your third-round pick start making a contribution.
I'm not going to lie to you, Sal. I was smiling every time you were putting that reference up, so everyone on YouTube seeing me like smirking like a little bit of an idiot. And then when you did it, finally, that's when I lost it. So, well done.
As baby got back, right? Is that what that is, right?
That's
what
it
is,
is.
Right? Okay, just making sure. I had it in my brain. I'm like, oh my God, I'm old and sounding really corny right now, but it's okay.
Sal, to the Dolphins, you already mentioned D. Eskridge. He is out. Chop Robinson also out. Rasul Douglas, doubtful. Snow revenge game for Douglas. Although, with them already losing Jalen Phillips, now Chop Robinson out, that is a defense. I mean, they are taking hit after hit, and they're already not a good run defense.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm just looking at, did Chop get declared out? I thought he was doubtful along with Rasul.
I've got the Dolphins injury report out, and he's out along with Eskridge. Douglas is the one that's doubtful.
Yeah, Douglas is doubtful. They may have changed that too.
As of Friday, it was true. Yeah, Sal, that it was both players were doubtful there. Chop was doubtful, but then it must have changed.
Did they declare him out since then?
Yeah.
Thank you. It must have happened when on the way up, because they made a couple roster moves yesterday, including on the offensive line with a tight end. But thank you very much. But that was expected. I mean, Chop Robinson's been dealing with a concussion since they played a game. And the last time they played, remember, they've had 10 days. Lots happened here in South Florida with the Miami Dolphins since the last time they played a football game. They fired their general manager, Chris Greer, obviously, after that game. Chop Robinson's dealing with a concussion. Rasul Douglas dealing with a toe, foot / ankle injury, however they want to term it. We'll see if he plays. They're going to be tested in their secondary today. They're really dipping in to their depth in the secondary. And I think this is a game where you have a running back in James Cook who, yes, he's having a fantastic year, and you're going against one of the worst run defenses in the league. That'd be great. But maybe because he's also banged up and he had a bit of a foot injury that was limiting him at practice a day this week, maybe that means the Bills test that secondary and say, let's just go through the air and try and, put something on them early and kind of bury them a little bit. Maybe that's the approach they take. So I'm interested to see the Bills' offensive approach. This is not a Miami Dolphins defense that's really put up good numbers this year. They're very low in a lot of the rankings, both against the pass and against the run. But I do wonder, because of James Cook, He is back home here in South Florida, though. I know he'd love to put on a show. So he's Joey Bosa, Elijah Moore, a lot of Bills players here from this area. I do wonder if the Bills say, you know what, this could be a game where we'd like to see less of James Cook than we've seen, take a little off him, and then maybe go to the air a little bit. Maybe you have Ray Davis and Ty Johnson in the backfield. There's a lot of different ways that you can go here, but it goes right to your point of, look, they traded Jalen Phillips. That was another thing that happened, right? They traded Jalen Phillips. No Chop Robinson today. Their pass rush is without arguably their two best players. So the Bills need to keep Josh Allen clean here, let him survey the land, and maybe, like I said, test that secondary on the Miami side.
And Sal, I do want to mention too with James Cook, and it's absolutely right to bring up the injury report. Maybe they want to get him out of there early, but it's in South Florida, and also, and this is something I didn't realize until this morning. My math could be wrong, so check me on this. He's 133 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. I think that they can maybe get it going early. I've been waiting all season, Sal, for that game where they decide, let's go to the air and we'll win that way. It doesn't seem to be how they want to do it. Maybe they don't have the talent necessarily to do it either. They do, though, at the running back position. And I think going back home against a division opponent that he typically does just get after, 133 yards, get him 1,000 yards, get him out of there. He only had 1,009 yards last year.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to hit that. But, the thing is, you're still in week 10, right? You could get it next week.
A long way to go,
you could get it the week after, right? It's a long way to go. It's like, it's a nice milestone, but it's something that, there's a bigger picture in mind. It's not like the end of the season where you're trying to get them to a certain benchmark and the season's over. So, sure, that could definitely happen. And, look, we all know this. All it takes is one James Cook run to kind of do things like that, right? One James Cook run, and you never know. He could bust one, and he's done that here in South Florida. Remember, Devin Singletary had a big run early in a game a couple of years ago as well.
I think Zach
down
Moss
here.
did, too.
So, what's that?
I think Zach Moss did, too. There you go. They have the big runs against Miami.
Yeah, so, all it takes is something like that, and, you could wind up getting those numbers, but we'll see how the Bills want to approach that when it comes to their offensive side.
Staying with the offense there, Sal, because of the fact that Cook did pick up an injury, he did get through. There is no designation on him, though. I wonder if the Bills will be a little leery of it, but also because Josh Palmer's been working his way back in the lineup. He might end up playing today here as well because of the fact that he's been getting practices now throughout the week. What do you think about Palmer if there's an opportunity for him to play in this game? What did he look like during the week?
Yeah, another guy from down here, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, he grew up in Canada, but I believe he came down here as well. I have to go back and look at that. I believe that was his story. But either way, the point is, Joshua Palmer, remember the last time the Bills played with him on the field, he was a big part of what they wanted to do. First play of the game, they go down the field 40 yards. Later on, another 15-yard play, but then he gets hurt. 2 catches, 60 yards, and then suddenly he's out of the game. And without him and Dalton Kincaid, that really impacted the Bills' passing game. You get Joshua Palmer and Dalton Kincaid healthy, and if Joshua Palmer is playing in this game, and he was trending well throughout the week, he looked good throughout the week, we'll see. I think that absolutely changes the dynamic of the Bills' passing game.
All right, Sal, we'll let you get ready. You're going to be on here in just about 45 minutes with the roundtable, Chris Brown, Eric Wood. So let's go get ready, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it, guys. Thanks.
Sal Capaccio there on the Western Hotline down in South Florida.